Hello. So I've been asked kind of repeatedly to do a video about a helmet. You guys will see me wearing it on Fridays over on the gaming channel when my wife is shooting at me with Nerf guns, and I think that's super stupid, and you totally don't want to click the link below to subscribe over there and come hang out with me and drink beer and have a good time. You know, I don't think you want to do that at all. But I've been asked to make a video kind of repeatedly about what's on my helmet, kind of where you can find some of these things, some of the thought process behind the things that I do have on them, and effectively how to, you know, come into having a helmet at, in a relative sense, a pretty cheap cost. So this is going to be a very simple video. I'm going to take you front to back on the helmet with thought process behind each of the things, and I'm going to start with the nods. So the nods, I don't have a great way to show you guys any video from inside. There are attachments that I can get for them, but these are Photonis Vipers. They're dual tube. It is white phosphor. Excuse me. It is white phosphor, and you know, I would equate it to like a Gen 3 minus maybe. I'm not really great when it comes to night vision and understanding the differences between the generations. I was issued a pair of PVS 7s, which look like you're staring through a kaleidoscope that had been thrown down a hallway. Yeah, it's pretty terrible. But I do have pictures that I've taken through the nods, which also, again, doesn't really do them justice. From a capability perspective, Photonis Vipers are a really excellent way to get dual tubes for about half the cost of, you know, some of the higher end tubes that are out there, some of the, you know, 31s that you can find. From a mount perspective, I have a Norotos Losto, you know, push button. I would have preferred to get the, you know, force to overcome mount, but I chose to go with the Losto just for the lower profile. There are some cooler guys out there that are running like Wilcox mounts and stuff like that. I like the Losto. Don't really care to be, you know, exactly like the rest of the keyboard operators. But that attaches directly to it. You know, I don't need, like with PVS 7s, J-arms or anything along those lines. The helmet itself is a Hardhead Veterans ATE Gen 2. Now, this will soon be replaced with the ATE Lite, which is, you know, fully made in Texas. Editor's note. So that's actually a really big deal. Hardhead Veterans is a sub 20 employee company churning out helmets at a rate that is astounding, to say the least. They're competing with multi-billion-dollar corporations that are propped up entirely by, you know, government sales. Now, that's not to say that Hardhead won't eventually or could already have government contracts, but understand that these are a small team of veterans that are really throwing a few punches with some big dogs. It is ballistically capable, level 3A. Believe it or not, there's no NIJ standard for helmets, right? So typically, when helmet manufacturers are testing and validating the ballistic protection, they typically will use 3A, NIJ 3A, which means up to like 44 caliber. HHV is one of the few that actually publishes their backface deformation charts and does the testing. Given that there's no real NIJ certification for helmets, one of the things that you'll actually be surprised to find is some of those bigger companies that are out there don't really publish any results from their BFD testing. HHV does, and they're very open about it. And the ATE Gen 2 performs very well. The Lite performs just as well, if not better. I haven't looked at the metrics in a little while, but I really enjoy the helmet. You know, it comes with their strap, which the connector is really cool. I've talked about this before, but it's magnetic. The latch, and I think that's neat. So again, this will soon be replaced by my ATE Lite. Now on the side, I have a Surefire Vampire 340 or 340V Vampire. Now that means that I have an IR flood, I have a white light, and I can just switch between the two by rotating the front of it. So it's on IR mode now. If I were to turn that on, this camera can't see IR, but if I were to turn it on white light, there, I got my white light if I need it. On the top of the helmet, I get this question probably the most. That's a Manta IR strobe. It has a couple different modes. It has a green light mode. Well, I'll just kind of go through them here. So when turning it on, it is in the first IR mode, which I believe is a static. By pressing the 2 side buttons, I'll feel 3 vibrations. That means that it's either going from blinking to static or static to blinking. I always forget which one it is. If I press it again, it'll go into green mode. Mind your eyes. So visible spectrum green. And then one more click and it's going to blink. Right? And then to kind of reset that cycle, just turn it off and turn it back on. So that's a Manta IR strobe with also some visible light capabilities. For ears, I have contact 5s that are on there. Now these are dual, so I can hear in both ears if I need to. I'm not a comms guy. It's something that I really want to get into. These are really on there just for the hearing protection and to set me up for eventually, you know, working on a comms plan. I don't have a down lead or anything like that. I think I'm just using some standard run-of-the-mill, you know, M-lock attachments to attach those to the side rails for the HHV. And then on the back, I have a counterweight that I also use for a little bit of cable management and storage. This you can get directly from HHV, and in fact, it was a gift to me from one of the HHV guys. And it works fine. You know, I find I need to get a few more not magnets, excuse me, a few more weights to put in there. Inside, I actually swapped my micro lattice pads out for HHV's Comfort Plus pads. That's not because the micro lattice wasn't comfortable. It's quite simply because they offer 2 sizes in micro lattice. They offer a 1-inch micro lattice, and then they offer a 3/4 inch or 1/2 inch, one of the two. A bigger one and a little one. I have the bigger ones here, and they are slightly too large, and I mean slightly within millimeters. Anybody that wears a helmet for a long time understands that that's slightly too large, or which is going to fit more snugly, or slightly too small, is going to give you a headache, and it does. So what I did is I put the Comfort Plus pads in here, and I will be exchanging my 1-inch pads for smaller pads. Anyway, that's my HHV helmet. I hope you guys check the links down below. For all of this stuff, I'm going to have links if you choose to get any of it for your helmet. You know, those links will support the channel. Thanks for being here, and we'll see you guys on the next video.